Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new season of The Shadow, the mystery man who strikes terror into the very hearts of sharpsters, lawbreakers, and criminals. This recreation series is to continue the Shadow's demonstration to old and young alike that crime does not pay. Lamont Cranston, a man of wealth, a student of science, and master of other people's minds, devotes his life to righting wrongs, solving crimes, protecting the innocent, and punishing the guilty. Using advanced methods that may ultimately become available to all law enforcement agencies, Cranston is known to the underworld as the Shadow. Never seen, only heard, as haunting to superstitious minds as a ghost, as inevitable as a guilty conscience. Cranston's friend and companion, the lovely Margot Lane, is the only person to know who the invisible voice belongs to. Today's drama is about an expensive string of pearls and murder motivated by hate, jealousy, and greed. This is The Shadow and the Case of the Dead Man's Shoes. It is a pleasant morning, and Lamont Cranston and Margot Lane are enjoying the beauties of nature as they stroll through one of the less frequented areas of the park. Margot sighs and says,
Ah, spring. It's so lovely, Lamont. And yet it always makes me feel a little sad. Why is that?
Perhaps it's because you realize that human beings don't measure up to the rest of the nature.
Don't measure up? In what way?
Well, as far as I know, a flower has never been accused of murder, and a tree has never been found guilty of arson, extortion, or burglary.
I see what you...
Margot, listen.
It sounds like a moan, Lamont.
Seems to be coming from over there.
Lamont, look. By that bush.
The man's feet. Come on, Margot. He must be hurt.
Wait for me. I can't run in these high heels.
Hello? Hello there. Can you hear me?
Is he all right?
I think so. He's trying to sit up. Come on. Up you go. On the bench. There you are.
My head. My head.
Lamont, look at that bruise.
Yes, I noticed. What happened, sir?
He hit me. He struck me with his walking stick. He tried to kill me.
Who did? There's no one here.
No, but he was here. We just happened to meet. We got into an argument. And then... Oh, my head.
Who was it? You could have him arrested.
No, I couldn't. I struck him first, and besides, he's very rich, very influential. His name is Archie Windsor.
Archie Windsor? The playboy?
The scoundrel. The wolf. The woman chaser.
How many times has he been married? 5?
6! And now he wants to add my daughter to the list. She's only 19.
Oh, and you won't allow it. Is that it?
I've got to stop it. I've tried everything. I've begged him, pleaded with him, warned him to stay away from Ellen. But he only laughs at me. I'm going out of my mind.
Can't you talk to your daughter?
Talk to her? She won't listen to me. She's madly in love with him. You know, the kind of terrible fascination a man like that can have for a young girl.
That silver grey hair, tanned face, athletic figure, even the monocle. He's very attractive.
Yes, Archie Windsor. I've seen him once or twice at some of the clubs.
You have? Wait a minute. Your face is familiar. Aren't you?
I'm Lamont Cranston.
Of course. I've seen your picture in the paper. I'm Horace Blake.
The banker?
Yes. Mr. Cranston, can't you help me? Isn't there something you can do to stop this? This terrible marriage.
I'm afraid not, Mr. Blake. I sometimes help solve crimes, but I can't very well interfere in a thing like this.
Isn't this a crime? A man like that? Marrying an innocent young girl who doesn't know any better?
Not a crime in the books.
Well, it is in my book. And I'm going to stop it, Mr. Cranston. Do you hear? I'm going to stop it if it's the last thing I ever do.
Come in. Selby, where have you been?
Even a secretary is entitled to a day off, Mr. Windsor. I've been downtown all day.
You have, huh?
Yes, I just got back and found your message in my room. Anything wrong?
I'm afraid so. Ever seen this before?
Why, yes, it's the jewel case you had out this morning. I gathered that it contained the string of pearls you'd bought for Miss Blake.
Yes. A $10,000 pearl necklace. A wedding present.
She's a lucky girl.
Open the case, Selby. Go on. Open it.
They're very lovely.
Are they?
Oh, yes, sir. Very lovely.
Selby, you're a liar.
What?
You're a liar. You know perfectly well these aren't the real pearls.
Mr. Windsor, you can't be serious.
You made a mistake, Selby. You thought I was a complete fool, didn't you? You waited till Ellen and I had left for the theater this afternoon. And then you substituted these cheap imitation pearls for the real ones, hoping I wouldn't find out until it was too late.
How could I? The pearls were in the safe. I don't even know the combination.
That's your story. You've watched me open it a dozen times. Selby, what did you do with those pearls?
I never touched them.
Very well. I gave you your chance. Now I'm turning you into the police.
Don't touch that phone, Archie.
You cheap, bungling thief. No wonder you never made it good at anything. Selling, acting, gambling. You were always a flop.
And women! You forgot women. I never had the wonderful way with them that my famous cousin had.
You'd have starved if I hadn't given you a break. Well, I'm through protecting you. You're going to jail where you belong.
Drop that phone, Archie.
Take your hands off me.
All right, Archie. You asked for it.
What are you? Put down that knife.
All these years. How I've hated you. Hated fawning on you. Calling you Mr. Windsor. Listening to your idiotic prattling. And
No.
now you're...
Put down that knife. No. Ah! Selby. Selby.
Exit! Mr. Windsor. And now...
Yes, hello?
Hello. Mr. Blake?
Yes?
This is Archie Windsor.
Windsor! Where's Ellen? She hasn't been home all day.
Right here, at my place.
Oh, you filthy swine! I told you this morning I will not have you seeing her.
I don't see how you can stop it. We're getting married tonight.
Married? Tonight?
Yes, Mr. Blake. We'd like to have your blessing. Why don't you come here to my place?
I wouldn't go there if... Yes. Maybe I will. Sure. I'll give you my blessing, Archie. I'll be there in 20 minutes.
The servants are out, but the front door is open. We'll be in the library upstairs.
Wait for me.
Don't worry. Archie'll be here, waiting. And so will the police.
The front door was wide open, Lamont. Just as Commissioner Weston said it would be.
Yes. Doesn't look too good, does it?
Lamont, I don't like it in here. Can't we turn on a light?
Not yet. Better look around a bit until we see what's what. Come on. Let's go upstairs to the library.
It's so dark in here, Lamont. And it's still daylight outside.
These old brownstone houses are all like that, Margot. Built to keep out sunlight.
Why would a man as rich as Archie Windsor live in a place like this? It's like a tomb.
If that anonymous tip Commissioner Weston got on the phone is correct, that's just what it is now. Someone's tomb.
Where's the commissioner? He ought to be here by now.
He got to come from downtown. We were only 2 blocks away. That's why he called us. Here we are. This should be the library. It is.
This room's even darker than the foyer. I can hardly see
Margot,
it.
stop.
Why? What's the matter?
Turn on the light switch. Right behind you.
Lamont, that blood!
The tip was correct, Margot. Here's Archie Windsor.
Is he dead?
Yes. Stabbed through the heart with a letter opener.
How horrible. He's lying in a pool of blood. He must have just dropped in his tracks.
Yes. And these bloody footprints. All over the carpet.
They must be the murderers. Lamont! Blake said he'd stop that marriage if it was the last thing he ever did.
I know. As soon as Commissioner Weston comes, we'll have him rush the men over to Blake's house. There's a good chance they'll find him walking around in a pair of blood-stained shoes.
We'll return to the shadow in just a moment. But first, do you wish to voice a part in our recreation series? If so, then feel free to leave us a message on our Facebook page or upload your audition to CastingCall.club. Now, back to the shadow and the case of the dead man's shoes. Following up on the leads furnished by Lamont Cranston and Margot Lane, the police arrested Horace Blake and charged him with the murder of Archie Windsor. Now, a little later, Cranston and Margot emerged from Commissioner Weston's office.
It's lucky the police got to Blake's house when they did. He'd already thrown his blood-stained shoes into the fire.
Pretty strong evidence of guilt, isn't it?
Strong? As far as I'm convinced, it's as good as a confession.
I'm not so sure, Margot.
Lamont, don't tell me you believed Blake's story that Windsor was dead when he got there.
It's possible. Blake might have walked into the dark room, gotten his shoes all bloodied before he saw the body. Then he got panicky and changed them.
That's not the way I...
Mr. Cranston! Mr. Cranston, please!
It's Ellen Blake.
Yes, Miss Blake. What is it?
You've got to help us, Mr. Cranston. You've got to prove my father is innocent.
I wish I could, Miss Blake, but the evidence...
I don't care about the evidence. I know my father didn't do it. He couldn't. Mr. Cranston, he is the gentlest, kindest person alive.
But he was there, Miss Blake, right around the time of the murder. He admitted it.
He was tricked, I tell you. Someone lured him down there and planted the evidence on him. Everyone in town knew how he felt about Archie.
If we could only prove that in some way.
There must be a way, Mr. Oh, there's Selby now. Maybe he knows something.
Oh, Miss Blake, this is terrible. Terrible!
You've heard?
Yes. The police were waiting for me at the house this morning when I got back from my day off. They want to question me here.
You'll tell them, won't you? You'll tell them that my father couldn't have done it?
I don't know, but I can tell them, Miss Ellen. I was out all day yesterday.
May I ask you a question, Selby? I'm Lamont Cranston.
Certainly, sir. They told me you found the body.
Yes. Selby, did Mr. Windsor have any enemies?
Enemies? I don't think so, sir. Of course, there were many people who hated him.
Why?
Well, frankly, he was just about the most self-centered man in the world. He couldn't stand being in the background for a minute. It was always top billing for Archie Windsor. He wouldn't have it any other way.
Still no reason for anyone to kill him.
No, sir, I can't think of anyone who'd want to do that.
Maybe some woman. Some woman who was jealous about the necklace.
Necklace?
Yes, the pearl necklace Archie was going to give me for a wedding present. You were there, Selby, when he showed it to me yesterday morning. He took it out of the safe and...
Oh, yes. I did hear some conversation about it. I was getting ready to leave for the day.
Lamont, did you hear anything about a pearl necklace?
On the contrary, Commissioner Weston went through a Windsor's safe today by court order. He said there were no jewelry at all, or anywhere in the house, except for a pair of cufflinks. Miss Blake.
Yes, Mr. Cranston.
Do you happen to know where the pearl necklace was bought?
Of course, at Bentley's.
Thank you. Come along, Margot.
Where to?
We're going to see a man. About a motive.
Why, Miss Blake, this is a surprise.
Selby, I had to come here, to Mr. Windsor's house. I had to see for myself, look around, try to find something to clear my father. Is there anything you...
I'm sorry, Miss Blake. I've gone through everything. And so have the police. There's nothing to show that anyone else could have killed Mr. Windsor.
It's horrible, horrible. The police have booked my father, Selby. They're going to try him for murder.
Yes, I know.
But there's something wrong.
I beg your pardon?
The necklace. The necklace that's missing. If my father had anything to do with this awful murder, he would never have touched the pearls. He's wealthy. Someone must have taken them.
That's impossible, Miss Blake. No one but Mr. Windsor had access to the safe.
No one but Mr. Windsor. And you.
Me?
Yes, you, Selby. You had access to the necklace, and you knew my father threatened Archie. You're the murderer, and...
Sit very quietly, Miss Blake. I don't want to harm you unless I have to.
You killed Archie, and you stole the pearls, and you framed my father. You vile, horrible beast. I'm going to phone the...
No, you don't! Archie tried that. Now he's dead. No, that won't do either. The front door's locked. I locked it as you came in.
Keep away from me.
You're so beautiful, Ellen. So beautiful.
No, don't come near me. Ah!
Thank you, my dear. So convenient of you to faint. I'll just gag you so you're not tempted to scream again. There we are. Now I know you'll be quiet until we leave town together. Tonight.
While Ellen Blake lies gagged and helpless at the mercy of her fiancé's murderer, Lamont, Cranston, and Margot Lane are in Bentley's, an exclusive jewelry shop, talking to the manager.
Mr. Saunders, did Archie Windsor have an account here?
Oh, yes, Mr. Cranston. And, if I may say so, a very active account.
Naturally, considering all the wedding rings he had to keep buying.
I'm interested in one particular purchase, Mrs. Saunders. Did you sell him a necklace recently?
Indeed we did, sir. A very fine pearl necklace. Let me see now. It was delivered to Mr. Windsor 4 days ago.
Just a couple of days before his murder. This puts a new light on everything.
How so, Lamont?
The motive, Margot. If the motive was robbery, then Horace Blake is pretty much cleared. He's very wealthy. He wouldn't commit murder for a string of pearls.
Who would?
I don't know. But when we find the person who has the necklace, we'll have the murderer.
In that case, Mr. Cranston, you'll have to arrest me.
What?
I have the pearl necklace right here. Mr. Windsor returned it yesterday afternoon.
Archie Windsor himself returned the necklace yesterday afternoon?
Yes, sir. He'd bought it with the understanding he could return it within 10 days. He walked in here yesterday afternoon and said he'd changed his mind about the lady and the necklace.
And you refunded the money?
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, we gave him cash. It was just after 3, so all of the banks were closed. He said he was leaving town last night and wanted some money.
Well, here we are, Lamont. Back where we started from. This brings Mr. Blake right back into the picture.
Mr. Saunders, you're sure it was Archie Windsor who was here?
Positive. Mr. Bentley usually waits on him, but he's out of town right now. But I'd know Mr. Windsor anywhere. His picture's always in the paper, and that silver hair, the monocle, the walking stick, it was him all right.
I just don't get it, Margot. Why would he change his mind so suddenly about marrying Ellen Blake?
I can't imagine.
It's all out of character. But let's go back to my apartment and see if we can figure out the answer.
Well, we've been sitting around here for 2 hours now, Lamont. Pondering. Any ideas?
1 or 2, but they're very vague. If we could only get in touch with Ellen Blake.
Well, she isn't home. I've tried her a dozen times. How about letting me in on your ideas?
Not yet. They're only hunches. I'll have to check a few things before I... Hello?
Mr. Cranston! Mr. Cranston, you've got to help me!
Miss Blake! What's wrong? What's happening?
He's going to kill me. He tied me up, but I got loose.
Just a minute. I can't make out what you're saying. The connection's bad.
Please. Lockton. Save me before he comes. No. Ah!
Miss Blake! Miss Blake, where are... Hello? Hello? Cut off.
Lamont, what is it? What's wrong?
Ellen Blake says someone's going to kill her.
Kill her? Where is she?
She didn't say. Listen, Margot, no one at her home knows where she went. There's one person who might know something about her.
Who?
Leon Selby, Archie Windsor's secretary. She seemed to be friendly with him, and he looks like the kind of secretary who'd keep tabs on his boss's girlfriends. Get in touch with him, Margot, right away.
Yes, Lamont.
Try phoning. If he's not in, get up there and wait for him. I'll join you as soon as I can.
What are you going to do?
Report this to Commissioner Weston. Phone Variety, and then go to work. As a shadow.
Yes, what can I... Oh, Miss Lane, come in.
How long have you been here, Selby? I tried to get you on the phone a dozen times.
I just got in a few minutes ago.
Selby, you got to help us. Something terrible has happened.
Oh?
Ellen Blake's in trouble. Someone's trying to kill her.
Kill her? Really, Miss Lane, I think the poor girl's so upset about Mr. Windsor's murder that she's gone off the deep end.
Selby, you are Mr. Windsor's confidential secretary. You must know a lot about Miss Blake, who her friends are, where she might be.
No, Miss Lane, you overestimate my position, but if I hear anything, I'll... What are you looking at, Miss Lane?
That glove, Selby. That long black suede glove.
Glove? Oh, that belonged to Mr. Windsor's last wife, I believe.
What's it doing out on the desk?
Probably been there for weeks.
Really? That's funny. It's lying on top of a theater program. And a couple of ticket stubs dated yesterday. It must have been placed there after...
Don't get any strange ideas, Miss Lane.
Theater. Yesterday. Of course! Ellen Blake mentioned it. She and Mr. Windsor were at a matinee yesterday.
Suppose they were.
If Mr. Windsor was at a theater yesterday afternoon, then someone else must have returned the pearl necklace to Bentley's. Someone who...
I think you've said enough, Miss Lane.
You, Selby. You killed Archie Windsor, and somehow Ellen found out. You've got her here now.
Yes. I've got her here now. In the next room. She was too curious. Like you. I planned to kill her and dispose of her body after dark.
No, you wouldn't dare. You must be out of your mind.
Now it will have to be a double feature. I hate to do this, Miss Lane, but I'm afraid...
No, stay away from me. Don't touch me. They'll get you. They'll hang you.
They can only hang me once, and if I silence those pretty lips of yours...
No.
Who's that? Who laughed?
The shadow, Selby.
What shadow? I don't see anyone.
No one sees the shadow, but he is here, Selby, to put an end to your murderous plans.
No one can stop me now! No one! I'm rich! I'm powerful like he was!
No, the money you got from the pearl necklace doesn't belong to you.
It does. It does! Half of everything he had should have been mine. He stole it from me. He got our grandfather to leave everything to him and cut me off without a penny. Oh, how I've hated him! For years I sat by and watched him fritter my fortune away until I couldn't stand it anymore.
So you killed him and used your acting experience to impersonate him when you returned the pearls.
Yes. He said I was a failure as an actor. I showed him. I showed the world. What a performance. Mwah! Magnificent.
It was your last one, Selby. You're nearing the end of your run.
No shadow can stop me. Miss Lane, get away from that door!
She's in there. I know Ellen's in there. I heard her struggling.
Stand back, Selby. Drop that knife.
No! Not till...
Drop it, I say.
I've finished! Oh! My arms! My arms!
Drop it! That's better. Now, Miss Lane, unlock the front door and release Miss Blake. The police shall be here in a moment. As for you, Selby, you may get ready for your grand exit. The curtain is about to fall.
Like to go for a walk in the park, Margot? It's a lovely day.
No, thank you. I don't want to be reminded of that horrible Leon Selby ever again. Or Archie Windsor either. He certainly was no credit to society, was he?
No, but that didn't give Selby the right to murder him.
Lamont, I still don't understand one thing. Why did you decide to check with the theatrical journal?
I phoned Variety to find out if Leon Selby had ever been an actor, and he had. They had some clippings about him, too. You see, I began to suspect an impersonation the minute we spoke to the salesman at Bentley's.
But why?
Because Ellen Blake had said that she and Windsor were at the theater this afternoon. He couldn't have returned that necklace.
Sure he could have, Lamont. He could have walked out of the theater, taken a cab to the jewelry shop, and returned it.
Ellen would have told us about it if he had left it for any length of time. As a matter of fact, she didn't even know the necklace had been returned. She brought up the subject of the necklace, remember?
Yes. Outside Weston's office.
So, the man at Bentley's had to be wrong. Windsor hadn't brought back the pearls, but someone else had. Someone who impersonated him.
But what made you suspect Selby?
He happens to be the same height and build as Windsor. He had access to the pearls, and I got a feeling he had been an actor from an expression he used.
What was that?
The first time we met Selby, he spoke of Windsor contemptuously, because he despised them. And he said that Archie always wanted top billing, strictly a theatrical term.
So you followed a hunch and came up with a murderer.
It was greed that tipped off Leon Selby. If he hadn't tried to cash the pearls so quickly, he might have gotten away with murder. But in the end, the necklace turned into a noose.
This story is copyrighted by Street and Smith Publications Incorporated. The characters, names, places, and plot fictitious. Any similarities to people living or dead are purely coincidental. Again, next month, the Shadow will continue to demonstrate that
The rate of crime bears its bitter fruit, for crime does not pay. The Shadow knows.